Stop negotiating with your potential. Stop negotiating with your potential. You all have heard me say in times past that one of the biggest regrets that I do not want to have is going to my grave or being in my final resting place in my final illness and realize that on the table of my life, one of the biggest regrets is that I left so much unfulfilled potential. And in my seat as a coach, in my seat as a mentor, in my seat as an entrepreneur, every single day, I see people who don't fulfill their potential. The saddest part is they're unconsciously incompetent about that fact. What does that mean? That means they don't even know, they don't know about how to fulfill their unfulfilled potential. They just become comfortable in the state of not fulfilling my potential. To me, that's misery. I've always been that way. I had a high school buddy not too long ago reach out to me, and it was about a post recently, and he was saying how, man, dog, you always been this way, and I took it as a compliment. I think he meant it as a compliment, meaning I've always been focused. I've always been goal oriented. I've always wanted to be better than average. I always wanted to be the best version of myself. Now, a large part of it I know has to do with how I was raised. I was raised in a family that did not let any of the children settle for average. My parents demanded excellence from us. Now, it was not a comparative excellence. What do I mean by that? Comparative excellence is when they're looking at other kids. They're looking at the accomplishments of other families and saying, oh, you should do like Ben. You should be more like David. No, they took each one of us 6 kids on our own merits and knew what each of our own individual capacities were. And from that said, okay, you know what? I am not satisfied that you made a B plus in this class because you have A minus, A plus potential. I expect an A next 6 weeks or whenever the frequency was of our report cards. And they measured us that way. They pushed us that way. Now, they knew that math wasn't your subject or social studies or science. Then they would adjust accordingly. They would see the work. Mom would see they would see the effort. They'd see us doing the studying and the extra credit. And so if you struggled and you did your thing and everything mom asked you to do and you still made a B and she felt that was your, but then she was okay with that. So my parents pushed us to be the best we could be. My parents didn't have aspirations for us to play professional basketball. I'm 6 foot. I'm not 6'10", with a 45-inch vertical jump and, 8 foot reach. I don't have those natural attributes, but they expected us to be the best basketball player we could be, going to practice every day, doing the requisite fitness and working out and practicing, because I can't go to mom and daddy complain about playing time when I'm not putting in the extra work. So my point is, my parents pushed us to the maximum of our capacity. The question is, do you know what your capacity is? And if you, as we go into this session about potential, if you know that you have the capacity for more and you're not pushing for more, then we need to address that. You need to address that, because I have to presume that the very reason why you wanted to become a part of the Worthy of Millions community is so that you could begin to maximize your potential. I see it every day. I see it every day, all day in the, in the home-based business space. Matter of fact, sorry, it had to happen today. Okay, a couple of things. I know the signs. Trust me, I do. I know that, and I'm glad God has allowed me to live, as long as I have, because all it's done is given me more experience and more expertise. It's made me a better steward of my time, a better steward of the opportunities that God has placed in front of me. And I've learned certain characteristics and tendencies and habits of super successful people. And you all have heard me talk about this principle for many years. The principle of stewardship, still one of the biggest and strongest biblical principles I've ever studied. because it governs so much of our current and our future success. Had a guy reaching out to me today, blowing my phone up, which I do not like, right? If you need me that badly, send me a text, but don't just keep dialing me like I'm customer service. Anyway, I called the person who brought this person into a business and I says, look, my phone is blowing up from, this area of the world. What's going on? I'm in meetings. I can't take the call. He's like, oh yeah, he's trying to, do something on his website and his website is shut down. I said, well, please tell him that all he can do is call customer support because that's all I can do. I don't work for the company. I'm not an equity partner with this company. I'm just like you. I'm a member. So you calling me only for me to call him? Yeah, that ain't what I do. You can call customer support. So a few minutes later, the young man I called about this issue did some due diligence, call and sent me a text back and says, Mr. Iverson, he never even logged in. The man signed up almost 2 months ago. He's never even logged into his back office. But now that he wants to book some travel tomorrow, everybody else got to be in a panic mode. And you got me confused with somebody. So anyway, poor stewardship, sir. Poor stewardship. You invest this money into a membership. Now, when you want to use it, you haven't logged in. You haven't gone to the site. You didn't kick the tires. You didn't do any sample searches. Now you just, okay, I want to book now. So you go buy a car, as another analogy. You go buy a car and they deliver it. And you never checked to see if there was no gas in it. You didn't ask nobody where the keys were. You just let them put it in your driveway. Then all of a sudden there's an emergency at the house a month later. You need to leave. And you mad at the people who delivered the car because you can't find the keys or ain't no gas in the car. You had something you should have done. That's a stewardship principle. And it's one of the reasons why so many people just don't fulfill or maximize their potential. They're bad stewards of the opportunity that God does put in front of you. So why in the world should he continue to present you with more? Some people just don't move fast enough. That's another big one. I can't work with slow people. When I say slow in decision making, it's a characteristic and it's a characteristic and a habit. It's a trait of successful people. They move so quickly. In my commodities business, gosh, I wish I got to start recording some of my calls and just playing clips of them. There are people who are making multi-billion-dollar decisions in seconds. Seconds. You talk to somebody about a $200, $300, $400, $500 business. No, Mr. Iverson, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm gonna really think on that thing, man. Really? On one hand, I'm talking to multi-billionaires who are making split-second decisions on multi-billion-dollar transactions. On the other hand, I'm talking to someone who need weeks, or even if I'm talking to someone about the masterclass, Mr. Iverson, yeah, give me I'm gonna need at least a couple of months, man, to really think. And instantly, I know I can't be your coach. That's like somebody walking into my basketball team saying they don't want to practice and all the things they not gonna do, but yet they want me to coach them in basketball. I've already made a decision. You're not right for the team. I wish you all could see how many people could hear, how many people actually turn away from the masterclass because you're coming in with all of these restrictions of what you can't do and what I'm not going. Okay, no worries. You can't go to a coach with what you're not going to do. Hey, coach, I'm gonna be on the Lakers. Let me tell you what I'm not. I ain't gonna come to practice. I'm only showing up for the games. Well, you clearly don't want to play for the Lakers. But having the ability to make quick decisions and be decisive in your decision making. For those of you who are in business for yourself, maybe you have a home-based business. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to sort out. When the opportunity is very clear and you know that it fits someone, let's use travel as an example. You know this person travels. You know this person goes on vacations. You know or highly suspect this person has the discretionary income to invest in a project, and they're still dancing all around. No worries. No worries. Your lack of action has just really disqualified you from working with me. That's all that means. What we're not going to do is sit here and beg you and chase you down. I'm gonna keep dripping. No, I'm not. I got way too much going on. So I'm giving you all some signs as to why early on, a lot of people simply don't fulfill their potential. Now, let me share with you a couple of things. Hold on one moment, because I did prepare a deck that I want to share with you guys, and we're going to go over some things that you can take some notes on, and then I am going to we're going to take some questions, and then I'm going to let you guys have your evening. Okay. All right. Here's where we want to start. Let me collapse this. Okay. Can you all see my screen where it says stop negotiating? Somebody just put in the chat box if you all can see that. Okay, so I put a yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Blake. All right. All right, so guys, look, this session is not motivational. Okay, it's not motivational. Tonight is a reset. Okay, we're installing a system. Okay, this isn't motivation. Tonight is a reset. We want to really start putting some systems in place as we begin to really delve into 2026 and really making a game plan for us to maximize, including myself. I've got some very ambitious goals for the first quarter. Okay, what am I going to do? How am I? So the first thing I want to do is understand that when you negotiate, you're bargaining with what you know you should do. That's what a negotiation in this context means. You're trying to make a bargain with what you know you should do. And what we want to do is leave here with some sort of repeatable daily system. So a great idea isn't rare, but a great routine is. Let me say that again. A great idea isn't really rare, but a great routine is. The people who have ultimately maximized their potential have become habitual in their pursuit of maximizing their potential. They don't just sit around and have ideas. I used to go to church with this guy, good guy, really good guy. I used to sing in an a cappella group with this guy for 10 plus years. Love him, love his family, love his wife. Fantastic guy. But I tell you what, you talk about a dreamer. When I tell you, every time I saw this man, whether it was at a rehearsal, whether it was at Sunday service, he had a new idea. Iverson, oh man, I got this new. He's a really good vocalist and songwriter. I got this thought, man, for this new single, man, this new song. Oh, it's gonna be so inspirational. I can't wait for you to hear it. I can't wait. Iverson. A week later, man, I got this new recipe I want to try for this new pizza restaurant. I got this pizza recipe. Hey, he's gonna do it, man. Hey, man, I got this. I want to do a food. I mean, every time I saw him, great ideas. Never saw no execution. Don't be that person. You're only frustrating your inner self. You're only fooling yourself, because your biggest competition is not Spencer Iverson. Your biggest competition is in social media. Your biggest competition is in your family. Your biggest competition is you, because you can't fool you. You might fool me. You might fool your family, your wife, your kids, people in your circle, but you can't fool yourself. You know when you're not maximizing your potential. You know when you don't even believe what you just said. So having a bunch of ideas, that's fine. But at some point, we have to put the steps in place to execute on those great ideas. Most people don't fail from a lack of desire. They fail from a lack of default. What does that mean? We haven't created enough habits so that when you start pursuing your potential, you don't have that routine fall back on that default setting. So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that on today. So when I said this is not motivation and tonight is a reset and that we're installing a system, it's exactly what we're doing. See, motivation is a spark. Systems are a generator. Motivation is that moment of enlightenment that gets you emotional. We've had many conversations about how to divest ourselves of our emotions in business. So motivation is a spark. Systems, that's the generator. What is a generator? A spark is just like, that's why I call it a spark plug. It just ignites one time, but it gets all the systems in your car going that runs and runs and runs. So motivation is unreliable because it's state based, right? Meaning that it's temporary in its nature. State based means, are you asleep? Are you awake? Are you sad? Are you happy? What state of emotion are you in? And oftentimes that will determine how motivated you are or not. Now, systems, though, they're cue based. Systems are something that are by its very destination, by its very definition, routine in its nature. Understand the nature of habits. Data has shown that it usually takes about 66 days for something to become a habit. 43% of everyday actions are habitual. 43% of everything you do every day is habitual. From the time that you get up to the first thing you do when you get up to when you eat breakfast, should you decide to go work out, 43, almost half of the things that we do every day is habitual. So if nearly half of your day is automatic, trying harder is a weak strategy. So when people say, oh, Mr. Iverson, let's say I'm doing a discovery session, I'm having a private consultation with someone, and they say, Mr. Iverson, I love what you just said. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna try harder. That's not a system. That's an emotion. That's motivation. Trying harder is an emotional response. It's not systemic. What we need to do in that trying harder is we have to now put action steps that can become routine, that can become habitual, that can become systemic, which will help you now have something to measure your progress. For example, if I only went to the gym when I felt like it, I would not be in the shape that I'm in today. Therefore, what works for me? Because most times I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't. That's why an accountability partner is important. But here's the point. What happens though is when I have a system, when I say, Spencer, I am going to work out every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a system. And so that divests me of any emotions that I may have. I just know that Monday at 1:30, I don't care how I'm feeling, I better be in my car heading to Planet Fitness to get my workout in. Has nothing to do with my emotions, has nothing to do with my emotional state. I just know I've created a system of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hey, Mr. Iverson, I got this big meeting. Are you available around 1:32? Nope. Why? I already have something on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have a system in place. And when a person has a system in this context, you know what you're going to do physically in that? I'm going to have better results because I've blocked out that time and it is not tied to my emotions. I don't feel like working out. It's not a feeling. I've made it into a system. So ask yourself this question. What systems do I have for my life that is going to allow me to maximize my potential? What systems do I have? What systems have I put in place in my life on a daily basis that are going to allow me to maximize my potential? Now, let's go to, let me share this with you. So we're not, all right. Look at this. The potential versus the compromise. Delayed dreams equals denied reality. I'm gonna go over these. So if you want to screenshot this, do that now. Take a picture of that. Trading great for good enough and the internal tax of maybe tomorrow. The internal tax of maybe tomorrow. Look at that arrow as it relates to the potential and the compromise, right? So here's the thought. Here's the thought on that. 1 second. This is not really about philosophy. Practically, you almost always delay changes and outcomes. When you lose reps, you lose iterations, you lose relationships. For example, two business owners with the same product, they took two different paths. This is talking about delayed dreams versus denied reality. One business owner, he ships weekly. The other one he wants everything to be perfect. He ships monthly. After 90 days, the weekly shipper has 12 cycles of feedback, of data, of statistics. The perfectionist has 3. So what happens is a lot of us, we want things to be perfect. We want the timing to be perfect. We want our product to be perfect. We want everything to be perfect before we start. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about consistency. You oftentimes have heard us say, build the plane as you fly it. You're not going to learn everything. While you're waiting for perfection, while you're waiting for perfect timing, there's the other person in your same lane who's just doing the little things every day, and they're learning as they earn. They're learning as they go. They're figuring it out. And every iteration, every attempt that they make comes with a qualifying lesson. And they're able to apply that lesson real quickly and pivot. Meanwhile, they've made so much more progress versus somebody who's waiting for the perfect time to strike, the perfect time to launch, the perfect time to tell someone about what it is that you do, and you don't get those reps in. Not only do you lose momentum, you lose credibility. You lose the data that you would have earned, you would have learned by going ahead, making a mistake, taking course correction. Now, how do we trade great for good enough? See, good enough can become a lifestyle. You don't want good enough to become a lifestyle. To me, that's really close to average. Well, I was just good enough. I don't want my children. My daughter just called me. We got attorney Blake Williams on the line. He can appreciate this. So Haley is in her first year, second semester of law school. She called me all excited. Dad, I just got selected for my first, interview for an internship this summer with a law firm. So we're going through that. Ironically enough, from a timing perspective, she just had a mock interview with an attorney just to kind of, polish up her interviewing skills. And she's like, Dad, oh, it went so well. I'm really excited about my interview on tomorrow. And she's putting in the work, she's doing the reps. But here's the thing. I challenge Haley, look, your grades are going to get you the interview, but how you do on that interview is going to get you the job. And you don't want to be just like everybody else. You have to show them what they don't see on that paper. If you just regurgitate your resume, yes, I graduated summa cum laude from Georgia. I was an on-campus model. I was a part of a mentoring group. I ran in the Junior Olympics. I started my own wholesale real estate company. They can read that. Boring, boo, grades out of the park. But your relatability, how are you going to go from good enough to great? No, you got to let your personality shine. Tell them what's not on the piece of paper. Share with them what your superpower is. Put yourself in their position. That comes through practice, repetition. Also comes through being able to hear and learn about yourself. That's what the mock interview was about. She didn't have to do the mock interview. That's something extra that she did. Why? Because she wants to be the greatest version of herself. The whole moral of this story is, what is the extra that you're doing? I congratulate each of you because I know the answer to at least one answer to that is that you're in the masterclass. You have said, you know what, I'm going to designate time for me to separate myself from the average. I'm going to do something different than the average people are doing so I can get myself to the point of greatness. So don't ever settle. Don't allow your children to settle with being just good enough. There's greatness that lies in all of us. I love the story of Steph Curry. Steph Curry, yes, his father is Dell Curry. Yes, he was born into a family of athletes and probably has some genetic dispositions for athleticism. However, he still had to do the work. See, he's an atypical NBA player. Steph Curry is only 6'3". Now I say only, but 6'3" in the NBA is not very tall. Steph Curry, when he played at Davidson, had a very slight build. He was 155 pounds soaking wet. There was nothing looking at Steph Curry, if you did not know his last name and know his pedigree, that said, yeah, that guy is the greatest shooter God ever created, which is the moniker, the title that almost every basketball expert has assigned to Steph Curry. But what did he do? Steph Curry knew that his name wasn't going to make them three-pointers. His name alone was not going to get him a starting position in the NBA. His name alone was not going to win him 4 or 5 NBA titles. He had to do what? He had to do the work. There are accounts of Steph Curry's daily routine of making 1,000 three-pointers. Pause. Notice what I did not say. I did not say taking 1,000 shots. No, Steph Curry has to make 1,000. He may have to shoot 12, 13, 1400 to make 1,000. It's a difference. Anybody get up there and just throw balls at the rim. He added that extra level of difficulty. If I want to maximize my potential with the height and the weight and the quickness and the God-given natural gifts God gave to me, I got to do more than average. The question is, what are you doing that's above and beyond the average? Again, I'm gonna stick with the home-based business examples. If everybody's making 4 or 5 calls a day, then you're doing what everybody else is doing. You should then maybe challenge yourself to make 10 to 15. That's the way I always looked at it. My coach, my mentor in network marketing was Floyd Williams. Great man, great guy. And I was a quick study, even though, Blake, I was an attorney at the time when I was really introduced to network marketing. Really did not look fondly on the industry. But I didn't really like billing hours either. In the long hours, I was a litigator. Before I transitioned into sports law. Anyway, I heard about some of the income those people were making and in the industry and whatnot, and got into travel. And I applied the same tenacity that I had in my academic pursuits that I did when I was representing athletes, even before I was an attorney. The same tenacity I did when pursuing my inventions. The same tenacity to the business. I'm competitive, y'all. Again, some of y'all know me. Nisi's on here, and a lot of y'all know how competitive, I am. And I had quick success by employing those principles. I felt that Spencer Iverson just putting his name on a list, that never has been me. Never. I've never just signed up for something and wanted to be on there or in there. When I was playing Little League Baseball, I wanted to play hard enough and well enough to be the captain of the team. When I played soccer, I wanted to play well enough to be a starter and then be captain of the team. I didn't want to just be on the roster. Anybody can get on the roster. I didn't want no participation trophies. I didn't want them in sports. I don't want them in life. I don't want them in business. So after I started building and establishing myself, I went to Floyd one day and I said, Floyd, who's second place? I know I got your biggest team. Who in second place? And he told me the young lady's name. And I says, okay, look. I said, if her team ever comes within 1,000 of mine, I don't care what time of day it is. You call me. I got to go to work. And he thought I was joking. I was serious, a heart attack. Why? I wanted to, when I had a sense of pride when Floyd would share in front of audiences, in our case of thousands of people, that man, that young man right there, Spencer Iverson, he's got my largest team. At that time, Floyd had a team of maybe only 40,000 people. And I had almost had half of them. And I didn't want that to change. My point is, I challenged myself. I didn't want to be just good enough. I didn't want to be just another membership ID in the system. Therefore, if I heard somebody was doing 4 meetings a week, I did 5. If somebody was doing 10 calls a day, I did 20. I did more. Why? Same thing I would tell my son with basketball. Oh, you don't want to go practice today? Hey, I ain't gonna push you, son. No worries. No worries. Just know though, it's a kid in New York. It's a kid in Philly in the snow. They out there dribbling that basketball. They out there. So if you ever want a scholarship and you go into one of these prestigious summer camps and these guys are balling out and you wondering how come you feel like you losing a step or your shot not going down, they put in that work. Snow, rain, heat. Okay, Dad, let's go shoot. Oh, I'm just saying. Your tongue in your mouth and your tongue in your shoe have to be going in the same direction. You can't say I want to be the starting point guard for Buford High School, but today you don't want to put up shots. It's not about how you feel. It's about putting a system in place. And then we look at the internal tax of maybe tomorrow. The internal tax of maybe tomorrow. Every tomorrow has a cost. Whether it's the mental load, meaning unfinished business, losing credibility with yourself, or losing momentum. You know what you lose, really? You know what you lose in terms of the internal tax of maybe tomorrow? You lose time. Remember, as an attorney, we're trained to be very, very specific with our words, very specific with the phrases that we use. We have to be. So you can't waste time. I've stopped correcting people on that, but You know, it's impossible to waste time. Mr. Iverson, what do you mean? Let me help you. You can't waste time. It's impossible to waste time. Here's the opposite. You can waste food. Like if I order a hamburger and I'm walking back to my car, there's a hole in my bag, the hamburger fall on the ground. Oh man. I'm in a cafeteria and I trip and my plate falls on the ground. Oh man. All I did was waste the food. You know what I have the option to do? I have the privilege of doing? I can go back in that cafeteria line and say, yeah, I tripped on, Jim's foot. I want to replace my items. I want to get more food. My hamburger's on the ground. I go back to the window. Hey, see the hamburger right there? My bad. I tripped and fell. I mean, there was a bad hole in the bag, fell down. I can get another hamburger. I wasted the food. No problem. I can get more. Can't waste time though. Only thing you can do with time is lose it. That's why I don't let people waste it. I don't let people fool my time. Oh, Mr. Iris, I'm sorry I'm 2 minutes late. You probably not even get me on the phone because that's 2 minutes of my life I will never get back. That's why we start on time. 7:29, I'm on the mic. 7:30, we rolling. Why? I'm not going to disrespect your time because it would be you losing time. I can't go to Walmart, and I'm sorry, man, I'm looking for time. Y'all got time on sale today? Oh, aisle 19, okay. Let me see. Oh yeah, they got 30 minutes on sale. I'm gonna give me 2:30. You can't buy more time. You can't buy more time. I wish we could. Can't buy more time. Once it's gone, it is gone. But how many of us allow people, circumstances, social media, relationships to cause us to lose time? That's why in a home-based business, it's very frustrating for me. You talking to people. They know good and well they ain't signing up. Good and well, I ain't signing up. That's why I ask very difficult qualifying questions at the very beginning. I am probing to find out, one, do you have the financial wherewithal to even afford this program at the lowest level? Because I need to find that out before I go into answering these questions for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Because I don't want to do what? I do not want to lose my time. That's why I put systems in place. Ms. Iverson, when you going to do another presentation? I don't know. I'm going to do one. What time is it? 8:05. I got one starting at 8:06. I got one starting at 8:07. I got one starting at 8:08, 8:09, and 8:10. What do I mean? I recorded one months ago. It's the same presentation. Whether it's live or recorded, I say the exact same information. Why do I need to lose time doing one? There ain't no new information. Same travel product, same comp plan. Why? Right? We become conditioned to make excuses. So when somebody says, hey, Mr. Iverson, when you doing? See, I learned how to navigate through people trying to distance themselves from making a decision. Oh, Mr. Iverson, thank you for the invitation. So if I do a live one, I'll invite people. And if they don't make it, invariably they call, oh man, I missed it, man. When your next one? In 2 minutes. I don't know when you're free. Man, I got some time now. Cool, I'm gonna send you the recording. What we're not gonna do is do a whole presentation for you specifically. When you become conditioned on systems, you are able to filter through more people faster, okay? So what we're replacing now tonight is replacing compromise, how we've compromised in our lives, with a simple framework. And we're going to go over these quick 4 pillars that turn potential into receipts. Here's pillar number 1. Here's pillar. The 4 pillars first are clarity, confidence, execution, and having a plan of action. Clarity, write that down. Clarity, confidence, execution, and having a plan of action. Let's talk about clarity first. Clarity is when you're choosing the target, right? It's the vision filter, right? It's, I had to share this with someone recently about, who was getting involved in the masterclass. They were all over the place, had 20 projects going on. I said, I need you to become less like a flashlight and more like a laser beam. It's not that you don't lack talent. Doesn't mean that you lack skill. You lack focus. You got 20 plates spinning at the same time. You lack focus. We got to get you focused. And the more specific you can become with your you're stretching for your goals, the more likely you are to attain it. So what we have to do now is be very, very specific in our pursuit. Mr. Iverson, in 2026, I'm gonna make more money. Who don't want to make more money? That's not a goal. That's a wish. What a goal is, Mr. Iverson, in 2026, I want to make more money. Here's how I'm going to do it. My first quarter in my home-based business, what I'm going to do in January is I'm going to commit to doing 20 online exposures to my business. That's going to give me 80 for the month. Out of those 80, I'm probably thinking I'm probably going to get about 20 to 30 callbacks. Out of those 20 to 30, I'm able to do 10 three-way calls. Out of those 10 to three-way calls, I think I'm maybe able to average 2 to 3 new personal recruits to my business in January. If I do that for 3 consecutive months, I've added 9 to 10 people to my front line, but by helping teaching each of them the same thing, I've got a team of 100. At 100 in a certain compensation plan, Mr. Iverson, I'm earning about $2,500 per month residually in the compensation plan. What you've just done is you've taken your wish into now transferring that into a goal, right? You turned it into a goal now. What was that delta? What was that distance? That distance required putting in the necessary requisite action steps. Yeah, I'm gonna do it big this year, Mr. Iverson. What's that mean? I'm gonna do it big this year. When you just really learn how to actively listen to people, it sounds almost comical, but they don't know. So what we have to do is practice being very intentional about our goals. So, and again, you all, if you haven't already, I have, I think the very first module is goal setting like a millionaire. How do we set goals? What are the things that we think through? What are the habits that we've created? So goal setting research shows you got to be very, very specific. And the more granular you can get with your goal, the more likely you are to attain it. Let me give you a framework. Here's a good framework for this. It's called the one thing filter. The one thing filter. In terms of an outcome, what do you want done by that date? In terms of a measure, in what time frame do you want to have it? Is it a daily or weekly actions? And then what are the constraints? What must be removed or reduced in order for you to stay locked in the system that you just created? Do you have to, you know what, Mr. Iverson, when I look at my day, I'm spending 5 hours a day on social media. Mr. Iverson, when I look at my day, I'm spending 6 hours watching TV. Mr. Iverson, when I look at my day, I'm not getting up till 12 o'clock. Whatever, what are the things that you know you can do better at that's going to free up more time, which is going to allow you to commit more to your goals. Now, let's talk about execution. We talked about, the 4 pillars. First one was clarity. Actually, let's go to confidence now. Let's go to confidence. When we talk about confidence, confidence is everything for me, right? Confidence is, some people confuse confidence with arrogance. And what I appreciate about those of you who are on right now, I know that each of you has the ability and the capacity to exert and display more confidence. Some of you are better at it than others, but we have to begin to get to the point where we care less about what other people think. I'm talking to me. I used to really be concerned about what people thought, and I found myself trying to be everything for everybody. It doesn't bother me anymore. Ain't nobody I know writing checks for me, signing my checks, paying my bills. Now, I don't intentionally want to make you feel badly, but I will always be my authentic self. And I know what I know. And I will not let you belittle me in that. The opposite can be true too. People don't want to do business with people who are not confident. Tonight, for whatever reason, I'm really staying in the home-based business lane. I have many situations where people get involved in the home-based business and they're trying to make a decision as to who they will enroll with. And 9 times out of 10, there may have been 5 people who told them about this before. But when that one leader tell them about it, they sign up. Then all those other 5, Mr. Iverson, I talked to Michelle first and she ended up saying, oh, well, first of all, Michelle, a grown woman. She a grown woman. Y'all might be best of friends. But clearly Michelle did not make an emotional decision. She ended up enrolling with somebody who's confident. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how I'm going to help you achieve success. So this is a business decision. You're not going on a girls trip to Vegas. You're not going to try to ball out in the Bahamas. This woman is trying to make some money. So a lot of times people are going to choose the person who exudes the most confidence. And you know where confidence comes from? Confidence comes from preparation. Comes from preparation. When I started playing competitive golf and I started getting on these tours, the US Golf Weekly Tour, the US Am Tour, I was so nervous. Oh my God, you could see my heart beating through my golf shirt. I was so nervous. And I was putting in the work. I was putting in the work because I didn't want to embarrass myself. Man, these scores are posted all over the nation. You got a nationwide ranking. Nerve-wracking. But here's the thing. The more I participated, the more failure I had playing high-level tournament golf, the more I recognized more of my deficiencies as a golfer. So therefore, I knew when I went to go practice at the club, not just to put in time, but to have a specific game plan of what I wanted to work on. I was looking for my golf book. I will show you guys. I have a golf book that I keep in my back pocket that has notes. Okay, today I'm going to work on, 50, 60, 70-yard wedge shots. Then, when last tournament, I didn't do a good job with greens and regulation, so I'm going to be working on my 6, 7, and 8 iron. I was 92% fairways in regulation, so I don't need to hit my driver, but I made 35 putts. That's high. I need to get that down to 29. So I'm gonna do some putt. My point is I had a game plan. I had a very specific game plan. And watch this, the more I practiced, the more specific I became with my practice, the less nervous I got when I went to these tournaments. Why? I was more prepared. Now I'm walking them. So last year, this is 2026, 2025, I ended up being ranked the #2 golfer in the state of Georgia on the US Am Tour. When I would walk on the course, I would hear the whispers. Dang, there goes Spencer Iverson. Dang, he in this tournament. I would hear the whispers. I would hear the guys, who are friends of mine. What's up, big dog? What you gonna do today? You gonna leave something for us? You know why? You know why that made me feel good? I put in the work. And I felt good, man. I was dressed at my club, shining, my earphones in. I don't know what y'all playing for today. I don't even know what the rest of y'all here, because clearly first place is off the table. So good luck with second. I mean, I was, woo. You know why? I had put in the work. Y'all was in trouble. So where does confidence come from? A lot of that confidence comes from preparation. When I'm talking about how to help people build businesses, I can be very confident because I've built many businesses. It's second nature to me. When I'm helping people navigate through the intricacies of a project, negotiating a contract, it's second nature to me. Now, if you're asking me to knit a scarf, whatever, you got to show me how you do that. I have no expertise in that. Therefore, I won't be as confident. The third pillar is execution. That's the great divider. Execution is the bridge between idea and wealth. It's the bridge between your idea and wealth. Ideas are everywhere, but execution is rare. Results are paid to the rare. That's what results are paid. You know the best way to prove yourself when you're going into something new? You know the best way to prove yourself when you're going into a new group, a new team? Execute, prove yourself, put up some points. If you're the newest member of the basketball team, soccer team, whatever, put up some points. And the more you prove yourself, the more you execute, the more you are rewarded. We have to lose this entitlement mindset in general. This world don't owe you nothing. That has to be your mindset. And I don't want to talk too much about a sensitive topic, but it is what it is. Even with the topic of reparations, I get it. I know what our folks suffered 400 plus years ago. I get it. But I know a lot of people also who use that as an excuse of why they are today where they are. Man, if the government comes through with something great, I'll take my check, I'll take my land, whatever it is they decide it's going to be, I'll take it, but I ain't waiting on it. My mindset is I can't wait on something that may or may not come. Do they owe us? Whatever. I can't sit here and put no energy in that. I got to have 100% of my energy going towards the things that Spencer Iverson has 100% control of. In the home-based business context, making the phone calls, staying on top of my business, following up, being coachable and trainable. Oh God, that's a big one. Anyway, anyway, yeah, like, let me tell you what I'm not. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Almost done. Let me tell you what I'm not. Or maybe it's easy for me to tell you what I've always been. Whatever God has allowed me to do, whoever God has allowed me to become, I've always remained humble to the point where I could accept constructive criticism. I've always allowed myself to be humble to the point where I could be coached and mentored. Here's what I know. Life is short. And if you've been where I'm trying to go and can show me how to do what you did more efficiently, more effectively, now I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna get my notebook out, go. I ain't gonna say, well, man, look, man, you know I was an attorney, right? Man, look, I ain't trying to practice law. I ain't trying to, whoever it was, I'm not trying to be that now. I'm trying to be where you at. Show me how to do a multi-billion-dollar fuel deal. Show me how to do a $5-10 billion Bitcoin deal. Show me how to move 300 kilograms of gold from Uganda to Dubai. Show me that. I want to learn that. There's a lot of money in that. And so I was good at being a student. I have people today in the home-based business industry. Y'all know I've made a ton of money in that space. And they sign up. And they tell me what they gonna do. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a funnel, and I'm going to whatever you said after that. I'm like, you know what? That's right. You right. 2 + 2 is 9. You right. I've just made millions doing this. But you know what? Knock yourself out. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a questionnaire. I'm gonna create a questionnaire that all my prospects need to fill out. Before. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, each additional step, because that's not duplicatable. And I know many of the world's top networkers. I've worked alongside them. I've coached some of them. None of us came in the industry that way. Yeah, I've talked to my buddy and he had me fill out a form and, we answer nobody. So sorry. Yeah, I just think, you know what? You're right. 6 + 6 is 25. You're right. 6 + 6 is 90. Whatever you say. You got it. You know what that tells me? I can't coach the uncoachable. I'm not going to sit here and wrestle with you on how you can become successful, and you haven't done this before. You admit I haven't done this before, but you literally are the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I just spent 20 minutes with you lamenting how you've never had success in the industry, how you have this huge circle of influence, this huge network, yet you are going to the same things that did not allow you to have success prior to your phone call with me. How much sense does that make? I can't put no energy in that. You know why? Because that's not me. If I'm venturing on something new, man, I divest myself of diplomas and degrees and accolades and awards, whatever's going to hinder me from quickly learning what you're trying to teach me so I can replicate that and reach my goal as relates to what you're showing me. That's me. The question is it you? Will you allow yourself to be coached? Are you If not, then many of the things that you get involved in, just admit it's for entertainment. And that's okay. Just don't lie to yourself. Remember, we started at the outset. You can fool a lot of people, but you cannot fool yourself. Here's the last pillar. Installation. We can do all these other things, but we have to install the system. What is the system? What happens at 8 a.m. defines what happens at 8 p.m. Lord have mercy. What happens at 8 a.m. is going to define what happens at 8 p.m. That means the way you start your day serves as the GPS for what happens through your day, which will ultimately define how your day ends. So make your day practical. What is your morning routine? What's the first thing? What's your startup sequence? Like when your computer, when you power down your computer and it turns back on, there's a sequence that it goes through. What is your morning sequence. My morning sequence is first thing I do is pray. God didn't have to wake me up this morning. So I want to thank God for giving me breath this morning. Next thing I do, because I work internationally, let me see when I wake up. So Hong Kong and Australia, Singapore, Jerome, they're still, it's late, but I check to see if there's any WhatsApp messages I need to address in that space. Depending if it's an intermittent fasting day, I'll hydrate. I always hydrate. Then I'll eat. If it's not an intermittent fasting day, then I'll get going with my to-do list that I usually do the night before, and then I'm off with my day. That's my startup routine. Second thing is a midday reset. What do you do in the middle of the day? Do you take a nap if you're an entrepreneur? You don't want to drift. You don't want to, next thing you know, you look up and you spend 3 hours doing nothing. And then evening shutdown is when you start planning for the next day. I usually write my to-do list at the end of the current day. So I take the things that I was not able to accomplish because I prioritize it. The things at the bottom of my to-do list typically are not the most important things. And I put them into the next day's to-do list. So I have a game plan for my next day. So I wake up with a GPS and a roadmap for my day. So ask yourself these three things. So in terms of giving categories, you want to have one money move, one body move, and one spirit move. What's your one money move for today? Is it follow-up? Is it lead generation? Is it making the offer? Is it closing? Is it talking to your coach? So that's your money move. What's your body move? Are you working out? Are you trying to get some steps in? Are you eating properly? What's your body move? Guys, listen, all this wealth that you guys are going to make in 2026, all this success you guys are going to have in 2026 is nothing if you don't take care of your health. Eating right, hydrating, taking your supplements, right? Pay attention to that kind of stuff, guys. Many of the ailments and the maladies that affect our bodies are controllable. Some of y'all can attest to that. I'd be heartbroken if I went to the doctor and he gives me some bad medical news about my body and then follows it up with saying, if we had only eaten better, if we had only had fewer ribs, if we had only stopped eating fried chicken every day, right? Wow, it was completely preventable. A lot of the maladies that we have are completely preventable. I'm not saying you can't enjoy the occasional steak. You can't have steak every day. I'm not saying you can't have the occasional rib. You can't have ribs every day. And then the third one, have a mind or a spirit move. What are you doing to feed your spirit? Do you wake up in the morning with a devotional? I have a devotional app where it allows me to listen to biblical stories, and it's a real soothing voice. Today we'll listen to the story of Daniel. We'll listen to the story of, Noah and the ark, or just tons and tons and tons of biblical stories and references that allows me to begin my day with a positive outlook. Because if I open my phone, I'm gonna see something about Trump or ICE or something, and I'm just gonna be in a bad mood. And I don't want to start my day that way. I don't want my energy going to something I can't control. I can control the filter. I can control the filter. And that filter is, what are the things that I am allowing to affect and or to impact me? So this is what I wanted to share. I think that each of you in 2026, each of you are in this space because you have untapped potential. And what I want to see happen this year for each of you is for you to really take steps in earnest to maximize your potential. We've gotten the roadmap. You've taken the notes. Now it's time to implement. And it's going to be hard. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people. You want to surround yourself with people who will cheer for you versus sneer at you. You'll understand that everybody in your circle is not necessarily in your corner. Maybe this year is your season of separation, where you need to do some pruning in your life. You need to do some hard evaluations as to who is deserving of your energy and your time. I've done this exercise many times for many years. That is why my circle is so small. I got to protect my energy. And I've witnessed, watched, and wept because there have been times recently, even recently, where I broke my own rules. I let my own guard down and I didn't keep my filters up and I let somebody in only to have that person find a way to hurt me. It happens. So I got to stay consistent with my filters. Everybody got to go through the filters because situations like that cause me to lose time. And that ultimately affects me tapping into my greatest potential. Guys, listen, as I close this and start opening it up for your questions, I want you all to find people who are aligned with your goals. And it's hard to find. It might just be one person. I'm blessed to have maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4. Find and spend quality time, quality conversations, quality interactions with people who are aligned with your goals. Am I saying cut everybody else out of your life? No. I'm just saying, I am suggesting though that you give them the requisite amount of time that their stance in your life, that their standard in your life warrants and represents. I've got people who I enjoy a brief conversation about golf, but that's all you're gonna get. And I think sometimes y'all may think I'm joking, but I'm not. There are certain calls that come in, and I put that person on a timer. I got 10 minutes to deal with this today, and I hit go on my iPhone. And when I start getting that, time to start wrapping, because I can't do this with you all day. I cannot do. I'm sorry. I will not do this with you all day. Good talking about golf. We had a great match yesterday. Bye. I ain't gonna sit here and do this all. I got too many goals. I can't look back at my day and realize I spent 2 hours chopping up with somebody about a game of golf, or about what happened to Bill Belichick and not getting to the Hall of Fame. Like, maybe when on my downtime, but not in my money making time. So guys, put these boundaries up in 2026. When you do that and you crystallize your goals, oh my gosh, it's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be an amazing year for you guys. So I'm excited to be a witness and have a front row seat to many of you all's successes. With that being said, I'm going to give each of you the ability to unmute your mic. And if you have any questions, you have any comments. So let me tell you what's going on as we move forward. I will not do these once a week as we used to. I will do these once a month. We'll do our live sessions once a month, but they'll be longer, right? I'll have more time like I am now for you all to ask questions, to give you some consultation on a business idea, share ideas. We'll do these once a month. And then if you want individual stuff, you guys can go to my calendar and book a 30-minute session or whatever, and we can talk then, all right? So right now, I want to entertain any questions or comments, anything you got. Maybe you're working on a business. Maybe you run into a situation. Now is the time for us to share as a community so that we can, I can better address. Maybe you want more clarity on something that you heard. So what questions or comments does anyone have on tonight?
Hey, Mr. Albertson. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just wanted to say Happy New Year and welcome back, man. I'm ready for it.
Joe, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. Joe, thank you, man. Good to see you on here, man. And I'm glad to be back. Like I said, I was running on E at the end of 2025. I was running on E. And so I'm grateful that that we're back. And I'm glad to see you guys.
Sounds like the tank is full, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments, guys?
Just a quick question, Mr. Albertson. I'm a part of the NWR Life Travel Group in recruiting people of your same caliber, like judges, lawyers, that kind of thing. What approach do you use for us? I'm new to trying to, I guess, introduce them to it without being overwhelming or sounding thirsty, so just to kind of get them interested, because everybody's busy, everybody say they don't have time, that kind of thing. What introduction do you normally use to draw them into to entertain, at least jumping on the Zoom call or what have you?
Yeah, great question. And let me first say hi. Let me see. We got Kathy, Darenice, hey Elisa, Eric Blanks, what's up, EB? There's my friend, hey Faye, Joe, Royce, Sean, Kathy Carlson. Good to see all of you all on today. Thanks, Royce. So that's a great question, Blake. And it's one of the things that I think that made me different when I was beginning, in earnest building, in the home-based business industry. And this is why I don't do cold market recruiting, because anybody first of all, it's very difficult to get professionals, accountants, engineers, executives, attorneys to look at home-based businesses because think about it from their perspective, as you are, they spend a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money getting that degree. In our case, hundreds of thousands of dollars getting a law degree, hundreds of thousands of dollars getting master's degrees and PhDs. And you mean to tell me, you want me to look at this little home-based business? So I will say, most feel it's beneath them. Just to be honest with you. Blake Williams is a special case. Spencer Iverson is a special case. I'm trying to think in my 30 years in the home-based business space. Good Lord help me. Let me think. I want to be very honest with you, Blake. In my 30 years in the home-based business space, Blake, I don't think I've signed up more than 10 people who were attorneys. 10 in 30 years. 10 who were, doctors, practicing physicians. Because we're different. I was an entrepreneur first before I got into law. I had an entrepreneur mindset. I could give a darn about a law degree and a title. I was looking for time freedom. If it came through me inventing something, which I did, if it came through me taking a company public, which I did, if it came through me being an attorney, which I was, if it came through network marketing, I didn't care. I thought life was like a lottery. And the more tickets I had, the greater my chances of winning. So one ticket was being a sports agent. One ticket was, trying to take a company public and inventing stuff. One ticket was network. I didn't care which key opened the door. But see, a lot of people, they get caught up in that title. They get caught up in they'd rather bill hours, miss time from the wife, miss time with the kids, age prematurely, and live that lifestyle to maintain the title of attorney or doctor or whatever versus trying something that can relieve all of that pressure. So it takes a very unique person, number one. That's why I say you got to know the person. So here's what I did when I was presenting to them. And that's why I love travel, because travel to me would never really infringe on their sense of their credibility. So I never, ever, ever presented the compensation plan. I just went to Mike Malcolm, was an attorney I practiced with. Hey, Mike, look, man, I know you and your wife just came back from Aspen. What'd you pay for that hotel? Man, look, I'm in this project. Never called it a business. Never called it an opportunity. Look, I got involved in this project that, man, let me save on my hotels. Let me show you. Look at this, man. I said, I showed them savings. It's a membership. I pay $120 a month. And, man, I'm saving money. Really? That's it? I said, look, man, in this case, I would say, look, I'm going to send you 3 text messages where I've clipped my savings. I saved $400 on this hotel. I'm going to Puerto Vallarta. I'm saving $700 on this hotel. I just came back from a golf tournament in Orlando. I saved $150. That's my first month. What? You know me and my wife, we did it. I just stay right there in the lane of travel because I know that if I even tread over into, man, if you get 1 and then they get 2 and then they get 5, man, they start looking at you crazy in that world, in that space. So Blake, when I did have success with professionals, I only discussed the product or the service. That's it. The moment I started drawing circles on pieces of paper, doomed. And they would be professional about it. Yeah, but I know in the back of their mind, man, Spencer's struggling, man. He must be struggling, man. He in one of them pyramid schemes, So I didn't want to hear that. So Blake, that's what I did. If you just stick, when you're talking to a professional, first of all, you know how we do. It's like the Miranda rights. What you say can and will be used against you. So I ask questions at first. So Blake, tell me your greatest recollection of your favorite vacation. Oh man, Spence, I took my family on a Disney cruise, man. And I just let them talk. And then we went on these excursions. I forgot. It's a tie between that one and Costa Rica. I'm just letting them go. Oh, that's great. Why are you asking, Spence? Well, what if I just share with you how you could take that same cruise or stay at that same resort in Costa Rica for less money? Man, shut up. For real. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna show you a website. I even send you some screenshots of some trips I took recently, some hotels, savings I got. If you like it, get back with me. I'm done. I'm done. But what did I just do? I let them hang themselves. Versus, hey, my name is Spencer. Pause. Do you like to travel? Pause. I have something that's going to be a wonderful opportunity. Look, all these scripts and all this nonsense, man. Look, just talk. just talk to your buddy. Tell them how you save on their travel. And the more nonchalant you can be, the better. The moment you make them feel like you need them, oh, the boy, they're gonna dangle that carrot. Right? Now, what happens if they pass? Here's the second phase. You keep going. Maintain that professional relationship with, maybe they're a law partner, maybe they're your accountant. You maintain your professional relationship as is. Meanwhile, here's what you got to do. You got to blow that business out. When I did start having more and more attorneys, or when I did inspire more professionals to come, that's because I was making crazy money. I was making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month. And that caught their attention. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say? I can't hear you, man. I can't hear you. My Porsche door my engine is just going crazy. I'm heading to the track. I'm sorry. What'd you say? Oh, you got a deposition tomorrow. Oh, dang. Good luck with that, man. I'm going to Cabo tomorrow, man. I got a travel business. You know the thing I told you about, $1 million ago? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll holler at you. Right? See there. So if they miss out on the opportunity to save, then I'm gonna hit them with the money that I'm making that you slept on. I can't tell you how many times I've used that line. For real. People call me back a year, 2, 3 years later. They see me blowing up. They see social media. They see me getting these awards, doing interviews on shows and podcasts. Hey man, so you still doing the man, Dexter, I told you about this business $1 million ago. How much more money you need to see me make? All right, now I'm in the driver's seat. I told you about this business $1 million ago, but if they still see you in the same place financially, there's nothing compelling for them to move. Whew. I sure am glad that I ain't joined them on that. That was clearly a waste. That's why I don't quit stuff. I am not going to give the people who were asleep they sleep watching me, right? They sneaky watching me. They want to do it, but they going to see how long I'm. Bruh, you gonna suffocate holding your breath, waiting for me to quit, because I ain't quitting. Because the moment I quit, all these folks, these thousands of people who follow me, it will justify to them why they should never have joined me in the first place. Because most of my success comes from a recruiting standpoint after I've been in 6, 7, 8 months. Why? Because people want to see, are you going to stick with it? Or are you just jumping in, see what happened, and then quit? But once people see you serious about it, and you're gonna really pay attention to this thing, right? So when you drip on people, Blake, first you hit them with the service. So only the service. If they don't bite on that, the next thing you got to do is you hit them back indirectly with your success. That's been my strategy.
Thank you, Mr. House. Real good. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey guys, any more questions or comments before I let you have your evening? Any more questions or comments?
Oh, hi, Spencer. It's Kathy. I just wanted to say that I am very happy to be here and looking forward to big changes this year.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And I'm grateful for your leadership. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Kathy, guys, is from Canada, and she is diligent. She's got some big goals. She has her son, and I know she wants big things to happen for her son. So I'm proud of you, Kathy, for, making the investment to be a part of the community, getting fed like you are tonight, and making this a part of your growth strategy, right? It's that little extra. It's that little extra, that slight edge principle that Jeff Olson talks about that is going to make all the difference. And so, again, I'm very just as grateful as you all are of me. I am equally grateful for each of you. And guys, you understand, I get excited when you all call or you text or you email me little milestones that have happened in your life and little and successes that Mr. Iverson, I closed on this house, or my son got accepted into this school, or I just opened up this new business, or whatever it is. I get so excited because it's a measured event that is directly a direct result of your commitment to you, not to me, not to the masterclass. You should get excited. Wow. When you look back at where you were when you started and where you are now versus where you're going to be in the future, and you hit a milestone or you have that success, that is not Spencer Iverson. That's because Kathy did the requisite work to become a better version of herself, and the universe responded. Oh my God, that's great stuff.
That's awesome. And I look forward to meeting you in Dallas.
Yay. Yay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Spencer.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, everybody. Well, look, have a wonderful evening. Good seeing you all. We will do this again in 30 days. Stay tuned in to the school notifications. And if you have questions or need me in the meantime, each of you knows how to get in contact with me. So good night. God bless, guys. We'll see you next time. Hey, I'm going to put this in the vault. I'll have the team clean it up. In this recording, if you want to revisit it, will be in the vault in the video section, so you can revisit it later. Okay, take care.